Salam. So I will give you this equation, okay? And my question is, how can I balance this equation? So the first step in here is separating these components to half oxidation and half reduction equations. You will look at the changes of this material. So as you can see, it will change to this here, and the same material in here will change to another compound. So we can separate it, as we can see. The first equation, we have the same reactant MnO4 negative 2. It will change to the same compound but with negative charge. So as we can see, if you want to make balancing in this case, you will start balancing the atoms and then charges. So fortunately, we have the same number of atoms. We have manganese, we have the same number of oxygen, but the only difference here is the number of charges. So here we have -1 and here we have -2. And actually we add electrons to the most positive term. Okay, so here we have to add electron, and this is done. So let's go to the second part, which is the half reduction equation. And I just want to get rid of this stuff in here so I can rewrite it again. And then we can see. We will start with MnO4 negative 2. The next step here is balancing the atoms. As we can see, we have one manganese atom in here, we have one manganese atom. And if you look at the number of oxygen, you have 4 oxygen in here, and here we have 2. So how can I balance the number of oxygen? We add water molecule. So according to what we have here, we have to add 2 H2O molecules. And this is cool, right? But we notice something, we have additional hydrogens, and then we have to add these hydrogens, and we put H+, as we can see. Now we have the same number of oxygen, the same number of hydrogens, and everything is okay. But we just noticed that we have difference in the number of electrons. So if you start counting the number of electrons in this case, you have 2 negative in here, and you have +4. So the total number here is +2. So what to do in this case, we have to add +2 electrons. 2 electrons. And now, if you want to make balancing, you have 2 halves, half oxidation and half reduction, and now your rule is to make them equal. Okay, so in this case, I can multiply the first equation here by 2, and as a result of multiplying by 2, we will have the same number of electrons lost or gained. So we can rewrite it this again here. It will give you 2 MnO4 negative 2 leads to give 2 MnO4 negative 1 plus 2 electrons. Okay. As you can see, we can cancel these 2 electrons together. Then we will add these 2 equations together. Okay, here we have 4H plus you have this one here, and the summation of these is a 3 MnO4 negative 2 leads to give, you will have 2 MnO4 negative 1 plus MnO2 plus 2 H2O. Okay, as we can see, you can solve the equation from now, because the answer, or let's say the question, was about to determine the coefficient of manganate and this one here. So the ratio is a 3:2. But I want to explain something that is interesting just a little bit, not that much. And this thing, if you look at the main equation in here, you will notice that you have OH. And if you come here down, you notice that you don't have OH at all, but you have H+. So what to do in this case? I think this certain type of equations is advanced, but it's okay to know it. It says that once you have OH in the equation, or let's say the mother equation, then you have to put in your mind, after doing this step, you will add OH negative to both sides of the equation. But in this case, the number of OH molecules, or the OH ions, is the same as the number of H+ ions. So here you have 4 H pluses, or H+. If you add OH, then you have to add 4 OH. But the question is, so what if I add 4 OH? What will happen? It says that Once you have H plus in your compound, and then you add OH negative, like the same number, then you will have 4 water molecules. So, according to this equation, as you can see, you will say that you will add OH in here, OH negative, and you notice that it's 4, and here you'll have 4 OHs in here. So after adding 4 OHs to the area where the H plus present, then it will change to 4 water molecules. And then you will have 4 water molecules plus 3 MnO4 negative 2 leads to give 2 MnO4 negative 1 plus MnO2 plus 2H2O plus 4OH negative. Okay, the OH negative changes to water molecule only once it combines with H plus, otherwise it remains the same. As you can see in this equation, you have 2 water molecules in here and 4 water molecules. So you can cancel them together and just put the number of water molecules to the side where the molecules is a great number. And then you will write it as it is, and this is the final answer.